Hey everybody, welcome into the Scores Table here on JacksonSun.com, a weekly video where we kind of preview some of the big games in local college basketball in West Tennessee. I am Sun Sports Editor Brandon Shields. He is our local college sports writer Craig Thomas. And Craig, there's a lot of action going on around the area, but there's one game that kind of stands above the rest, or one set of games that stand above the rest, as Columbia comes out of Missouri and takes on Freed-Hardeman.
Yeah, Henderson will be a good place for some good basketball. Anytime you've got two games and all of the four teams are undefeated in conference play, you've got some stakes there from the get-go. Obviously, it's just the middle of January, but a little bit of positioning, and I think also from a fan's perspective, a little bit of seeing where Freed-Hardeman stacks up near the top of this conference. I think both on the women's and men's side, it looks like Columbia is their best challenger, which seems funny because Freed's in its first year, but I think the women kind of going into this thing had to be looked at as kind of a favorite just based on what they've done the last couple of years and who they had back. But the men have obviously had a terrific season. They're number 6 in the country, still undefeated at 12-0, and they'll be playing a team in Columbia that's been a juggernaut. Last year was 35-0 going into, I think, the quarterfinals of the national tournament.
Wow. And
lost by a point. So, I mean, they were really, really good last year. They're 16-1 this time around, so obviously good again, another top 5 team, and it's actually the NAIA game of the week, so a little nice distinction there. The women's game will be earlier. That'll be at 2 o'clock over in Henderson. The Freed women are 15-0, 7-0 in the conference going into tonight's games against Park. And the Columbia women are 11-4 and 7-0 as well in conference. So I think it'll be a really interesting test for the Freed women just because they haven't had that many. They had a somewhat of a test against Lyon last weekend, but really that wasn't a particularly great game. I'm really kind of curious to see how Freed-Hardeman might handle a situation where it's really tight with 4 or 5 minutes to go. That'll be a little bit of an advantage for them, I think, being at home where they've been so good. But it'll just be interesting to see how they respond to the situation.
Well, you were there last Saturday when they played Lyon. Obviously, with this being uncharted territory for the guys team, and the girls have been there in the last couple of years, but they faltered, had a couple of blemishes, toward the end of the season in conference play. How are both teams, I guess, kind of playing right now? Do they seem to be playing relaxed, maybe with a sense of purpose to keep motivated by the goal of keeping that 0 in the loss column?
Well, I think there's a sense of purpose for both of them. I mean, it's kind of a different sense for the women. They've been in this situation before in the regular season, really in a way the last 2 years, but certainly last year when they were rolling over everybody in the sort of halfway to untrained South with a bunch of the teams already out. They were running up scores like this, had a great record. They had just one regular season loss, and other than that, just kind of rolled over most everybody. So, they've been here before, and they've seen that, they have to get better and not just win, but play better basketball as the year goes on to try and get that national championship, because that's that last hurdle that this program hasn't cleared. They were in the Final Four last year, but, Freed's never played on the final night. So I think that's something that's in their minds, and they're used to winning the home games and used to winning on the road, but they're trying to get to what they have to do, and they don't have Natalie Shumpert anymore and Maria Bagwell, so you've got to make yourself better individually. And I think from talking to them, that's kind of what's on their mind and has been since the fall. For the guys, they're trying to get back to the national tournament. They haven't won the conference before, so it'd be quite a statement for them to do so in their first year. And to get to Kansas City when they haven't been the last couple of years is kind of what this I think whole season is geared for them.
All right, well, that'll be Saturday. Women start at 2 o'clock.
That's right, and then men at 4.
All right, and you can follow him on Twitter for constant updates from those games at JS Writer Craig. What are some other big games in the next few days around here?
There's some good ones. Union's got a couple of good games. They're playing Delta State, which is a leader on both the women's and men's side in the Gulf South Conference. The women are 6-0 in conference, and we've documented a little bit the struggles Union's women had last week. When they lost a couple of straight games, which is so uncharacteristic of them. We're not used to seeing that.
Right.
But Union's still up near the top of the conference. When you just look at everything, kind of pull back a little bit. So definitely an opportunity for them to see where they are. I think it's pretty clear that they're probably better than the team that we saw there a little bit. Are they going to be like the team we saw against Valdosta when they're throwing in threes, like crazy? Hopefully for them, but we'll just have to see. Bethel's been a little bit inactive throughout the Christmas. At least from a West Tennessee standpoint, they haven't been here since before Christmas. They got a couple road trips in conference to William Carey and the Mobile. So a big couple of days for them as they try to sort of reestablish position within that division of the conference, and hopefully improve their seed going forward. UTM's busy. Both teams play Moorhead on the road this weekend, and the women have Tennessee Tech on Monday. Tennessee Tech's the team that they've had their number in the OVC tournament by the narrowest of margins. They've beaten them 3 years in a row in the finals. And then Lane's got 4 straight home games starting tonight, Thursday night, and Jackson State will be home on Saturday against Columbia State as well.
All right, well, plenty of basketball going on for anybody who wants to go watch some local college basketball. You got plenty of choices here in West Tennessee over the next few days, particularly on Saturday, and I guess again on, well, probably just about every night next week. So be sure to go out and support some teams if you're able to do that. If not, or you can be sure to like I said, stay updated by following him on Twitter, JS Ryder Credit. Also, stay updated on JacksonSun.com with stories and videos and other things, just kind of columns and blogs and whatever from Craig, small updates every now and then if players of the week are announced and stuff like that. So, but anyways, thanks for watching and reading the Jackson Sun and trusting us for your #1 source for local sports news in West Tennessee.